Friends, today we will discuss participatory planning and management. We will discuss the participation, then participatory planning and the participatory management. What do we mean by participation? This participation is a dynamic group process in which all members of groups contribute, share and are influenced by the interchange of ideas and activities towards problem solving or decision making. And in other words, we can say it is an empowering process which enables local people to do their own analysis, to take command, to gain in confidence, to make their own decisions, plan and take action. And what is the participatory management? You can see the picture behind me that it can be defined as a process whereby those with legitimate interests in a project both influence decisions which affect them and receive a proportion of any benefits. Or in other words, we can say this participation will generate a stake in the process and enhance the prospects of both institutional and ecological sustainability. Now we will discuss the participatory approach. What do we mean by the participatory approach? You have learned this participation. Anybody can tell? You can see the diagram that some are the board members, board directors and other are the advisory groups. In the diagram you have seen. A participatory approach implies a major but not exclusive role for local populations in allocating rights and responsibilities over resources. What do we mean by resources here? Can anybody explain? The resources are man, money, power. These are the internal resources, and it may involve partnerships with other interest groups at micro and macro levels. It helps the extension functionaries to encourage participation. Now we will discuss the perspectives of participatory extension. What are the perspectives of participatory extension? The involvement of people in the programs of directed social change and the initiative intimated by the development agencies by way of analyzing the situations, deciding on the problems to be tackled, what problems we face and we have to decide, we have to tackle them, the fixing up of priorities, drawing plans of action, this taking initiative in implementing activities of the project as partners through contributing their ideas, materials, resources, labors and time. Finally, evaluating the results. It is very important because for any program we have to evaluate whether the project is going in the right direction or not. And a critical examination of the history of extension reveals the three major policy directions behind such decentralization attempts, and that is the burden of extension cost through fiscal system redesign. The fiscal system means here the local government, through the local government we participate. The extension through structural reform, responsiveness and the accounting. Then management of extension through farmers participatory involvement, because we are making the programs for the farmers and ultimate users are the farmers, and farmers will solve the problems. They know what is the problems and they know how to tackle it. And the rationale of people's participation are reduction in development cost to the government and other development agencies, and this enhancing the capacity of the rural communities to deal with their problems, correction of mistakes made by project authorities. No one is accurate and there may be problems, that problems we have to correct it in designing and implementing the programs of the action. Increase in the level of political awareness of the people and reaching the program's benefits to all the legitimate claimants. This decrease in perpetual dependence of people on government and thereby making the programs self-sustained and local people self-reliant. They have the confidence in them. Local people should have confidence in them that we can do this thing. thus gaining access to and control of resources, easier mobilization of local resources, whatever the resources are available with the local people, then we can use them and at the right time. Gradual empowerment of socially and economically disadvantaged people in the community. And what is the concept of participation? Uphoff in 1907 defines 4 types of participation. And what are those 4 types of participation? That first one is participation in decision making, in identifying, formulating alternatives, planning activities, allocating resources. Then participating in implementation, in carrying out activities, managing and operating programs. Programs for whom? Programs for the concerned clientele. That programs for the concerned clientele we are making, and the participating in evaluation of the activity and outcomes. What will be the outcome? It should be in a right direction. And the participation in economic, social, cultural or other benefits individually or collectively. The Khan 1998 summarized participation that an organized effort to increase control over resources and regulative institutions, and the people's involvement in decision making, implementation, benefit sharing and in evaluation of the programs. The people's capacity to take initiative in development, to become subjects rather than the objects of their own destiny. Participation involves a rehearsal of role playing. People should be the primary actors, and the government agencies and outsiders should participate in people activities. The categories of participation. What are the different categories of participation? Generally there are 5 categories of this participation. One is the core group. Who are the core group members? It's a relatively small group of people whose passion and engagement arise and nurture the community. And what are the active participation? Who are the active members? Who are recognized as practitioners and define the community. They are the active participation. Mostly the programs for whom it has been launched, they are the active participants. And the occasional participants are members who occasionally participate when the topic is of special interest. Suppose there is a program of this skilled nature, when the outsider expert will come and he will deliver a lecture, and whereby this involved in a project related to the solution of related to the domain of the community, because he is giving the lecture to all the persons in that way. What are the peripheral participants? People who have a sustained connection to the community but with less engagement and authority. Their participation is very less and they are not the authority of the program. This transactional participation, these are the outsiders who interact with the community. They come occasionally without being members themselves. They are not the members of that community, and receive or provide a service to gain access to artifacts produced by the community, such as its publications, its website or its tool. They participate through publications, they give knowledge regarding this website, then this another how to write the things. Then next is active relationship. What do you mean by active relationship here? This active relationships with key individuals and organizations can help you establish trust among the communities, and you are seeking to involve in your work. Thus building active relationships, defining your community, identifying existing relationships, starting the dialogue, using active relationships, related resources. What are the levels of workers' participation? These levels are information participation. What do you mean by information participation? To receive information and express their views. We have to gather the information and express the views among the farmers, among this community, among our small groups pertaining to the matters of general and economic importance. And what are the consultative participants? Workers these are the consultative participants. Works are constituted on the matters of employee welfare such as work, safety and health. The associative participants are, it is under normal conditions this moral obligation to accept and implement the unanimous decisions of the employees. They have to associate themselves in that decision. What are the administrative participants? You know the meaning of administrative. It ensures greater share of works in discharge of managerial functions. They works as a manager of this program. And what are the decisive participants? No doubt decisive participants are the jointly taken on the matters relation to production, welfare, etc., and is called decisive participation, and ultimately that are the local people who are the decisive participants. And the levels of participation, you have heard about the 7 C's. What are the levels of participation? You see the diagram behind me on the screen. How to participate, how people are, one is on the board, another are listening, another are sharing their ideas. This 7 levels of participation are, first one is to consult them, focus on making it findable and usable to first time visitors. Then to consume, provide regular content, whatever your content is, and make return visits easy by delivering to the doorstep. What is the next is the connect, provide ways for buy-in and exchange of data and other social connections, and demonstrate on how to they create a win for the end users. Compete, there is no doubt we have a competition in the ourselves also, our groups also, for another groups also, that show a scoreboard and rank your users. And comment, provide a way for the users to add their angle to the content, to review, to share, to how is your program rating. And next is to create, show the identity benefits of association with your organization, for example others who have done it. Next is to curate, be open and provide whatever they need to curate. Next is types of participation. How many types of participation, anyone? Yeah, one is manipulation. The lowest rung applies to situations of non-participation where participation is contrived as the opportunity to indoctrinate. Next is information, when stakeholders are informed about their rights, responsibilities and options. Next is consultation. This level entails two-way communication where stakeholders have the opportunity to express suggestions and concerns, but no assurance that their input will be used at all or as they intended. Consciousness building, stakeholders interact in order to understand each other and arrive at a negotiated position. And decision making, when consensus is acted upon through collective decisions. And risk sharing, no doubt these things being constantly in flux, there is always at the element of risk where even the best intended decisions might yield at least desired results. Next is partnership. The relationship entails exchange among equal working towards a mutual goal. The stages of participatory management: generating information on the resource and issues, planning, implementation, monitoring and evaluation, impact assessment. And what are these other stages are: information generation, this participatory planning, this participatory implementation, some of the benefits and steps in participatory implementation, participatory monitoring, and last one is the participatory evaluation. The application of participatory approaches in extension are natural resources, agriculture, soil and water conservation, forestry and agroforestry, this fisheries and aquaculture, biodiversity and wildlife resource management, this marketing, village resource management planning, pest management, crops and animals husbandry, irrigation. Friends, thank you very much for patiently listening.